So here's our coffee pump. It's a bit stuffed and I've got it wired up to a mains cable, and this is what it does now. Makes a noise, tries to turn a bit, but doesn't actually turn. And this is the same thing but with the motor start cap disconnected. As expected, it still doesn't turn, however it turns less than before, so I'd say the cap is probably okay. Something else is wrong with the pump. So I just removed this bit off the end, which I guess is the actual pump. This bit here doesn't seem to want to turn very well. This bit in the motor seems to turn fine. So if I turn the switch on again, she was all good. So what is it about the pump that's broken? Let's have a look. So this little coupling comes off. There's a shaft in the middle. Very jammed. There's little bits floating around in there. Not too hopeful for that bearing.
Yeah, like on the media. It's like, oh, you only see kind of bad.
So I'll see if we can take it apart from this side.
Oh.
But because I don't have a tool to get that off just yet, I'll end up taking these off and seeing if I can spot anything inside first. Well, there's a spring inside there. Not sure what that does yet. And on the other side, there's a thingy. You know, the thingy? Probably a pressure relief valve or something, I'm guessing. Given that's adjustable. I'll take that off too. Okay, so this adjustable thing pushes in on that thing there. Some sort of pressure relief, I'm guessing. Interestingly, now those three things are out. Oh, where'd that come from? This now turns. Okay, it's stiff as anything, but it does turn when I use a spanner. So while this is able to be turned, it's not right. It's definitely jammed. And that's just way too hard for me to undo with the current tools that I have. I need some special tools for that to see what is actually going on inside this thing. But for now, we can say the motor's fine, pump is snotted. So after a bit of hammer action and a bit of hard work, managed to get this thing off. It was fairly corroded and seized. Here we go, got it apart. It's pretty gungy. I'll give it a bit of a clean. It's interesting to look down there. There's a thing. Let's have a look. That thing. Yet to find out what that is. So I'm going to try to get this. I think this is a seal. We'll get that out first, which is pretty easy to come out, but probably not surprisingly, that's not very easy to get out. I'll get back to you once I've worked it out. After not having much luck with the other side, I thought I'd try the bearing. Well, this could be part of our problem. Not the best looking bearing I've ever seen. That's not cool. Not cool at all. I'll get that out and see if it frees things up. Of course, it's very hard to get bearings out because they're press fit in. But you can see the balls in there are looking very gungy and not like bearings at all, really. It's going to take some brute force to get this out, if I can get it out at all. We'll see how we go. But I'd say the actual problem with this pump is just this and not the pump itself. And out comes the spring clip ball retainer. And there's pretty much no way that's going to pull out of there because you can't get anything behind the bearings to push them out, to pull them out. So we're probably going to have to go from this side and find a little thing that's going horizontally across there. I think that's part of the shaft on the other side of the bearing. And the little pin that's vertical down there, I think that's couples to the pump. So we'll see if we can tap on that horizontal bar and push the bearing out that way. Well, after bashing on that and probably pretty much bending everything down there, because I don't really know what it is, the bearing is no more out than it was before. It's still pretty much flush. Bit of gunk has come out, and my screwdriver slash lever has broken off. But you know, I expected that. It was a bit of a hack job. Oh, we have some movement. Just needed a bigger hammer, more whacking. Okay, success. Alright. Bearing out. Very rusty. Blech. Blech. So there's the back half of the bearing, a little dust cover, and rust. Oh. Poor little pump. We'll give it a clean and see what we can find. This is a bit hard to film, but look, I've got the shaft back in, and I've sort of broken some of the couplings, so it doesn't work that well, but I can see that if I do catch it onto the pump, it turns easily. So the pump is fine, the bearing was the problem all along, and the rust. There you go. That's the fault that put down on the entire coffee machine. So I'm just trying to push out that washer there by sticking a screwdriver through the back and poking on its edge. Couldn't quite get to the edge. There's a rubber seal in the way, and I broke off a bit of, looks like a ceramic body in there for the pump. So we'll keep going, pulling it apart. So here's a list of the bits that came out. So the shaft went through this end, through this middle washer, a rubber seal, the bearing is on the other side of that washer, of course. And then there's looks like a ceramic washer or a plastic washer or something, and then a bit of plastic, a rubber thingy on a spring. I guess this is just pushing the seal against the bearing to stop it from leaking. And if you look down the hole, the body where all that stuff was, you see this black thing. It's got two holes there, two holes there. This is going to be the pump assembly itself. That's probably going to be a press fit. I'll see if I can get that out and see what happens. Whatever it is down there, it's very brittle. Just tapping it with a hammer. It's chipped off bits of it and black powder everywhere. So I guess it's graphite or something, carbon something. Okay, of course we're moving away from the why the pump stopped working into how the pump works and what's inside it. But anyway, it's fun. So this middle section's got three graphite-looking bits. Not sure if it's graphite. It looks like it might be. Something harder than that. These two bits on the end, the bits that you see on the outside, they're the same. That one and that one. And this bit in the middle, which is, it's got an eccentric circle in the middle. So this thing here fits inside that and spins, but because of the eccentric, that drags water from one side around to the other side, where it exits through one of the, one of the holes on these ends, something like that. It's pretty clever. This bit here has just got these four little pieces in each of these little slots. They just move around. I'm guessing centrifugal force makes them spin out and scrape against the wall as they're going around. So it scrapes the inside of that eccentric as it drags the water around. I can only find three of them because when I knocked it out, the whole thing sort of exploded and one of them's lost in my garage. Anyway, so that's the inside of this pump. The body's just a big piece of brass, nothing else in there now. And the mess, the carnage, let's have a look. It's a big mess. From really, it came down to just this being broken. That was it. Just all corroded. Bearing died. Made the entire coffee machine stop working. Okay, that's a wrap from me. See ya. I found the last piece of the pump that flew off and I lost, but this is a bit of an explanation of how it works. So the shaft spins around here. So you can see these things, these little carbon bits in there, they're little veins, they fly out under centrifugal force when the thing spins around, and so that always scrapes along the wall. So you'll see that over here it will suck water in one of these big gaps and drag it around because these veins have spin out to the side. Drag it around here where the gap's big, and where it's small it'll push the water through and it'll come out another hole. So it comes in one side and goes out the other side because these veins are sort of pushing them around. You can see the veins close up over here, stop water getting back through. And they basically just keep paddling the water from one side to the other and pumping the water through under pressure. Very clever.